anywhere in February in this country, you're dealing with colder water, you're dealing with wintertime conditions, more lethargic fish, and for sure at Hartwell, we're going to have those conditions. We're going to have a wintertime classic. Anytime it's cold and that kind of cold water bite comes into it as a factor, I'm thinking about suspending jerk baits. I'm thinking about baits that have this really neutral movement, natural action, and lures that I can almost let sit motionless. And the Shadow Rap's going to be a player for me. Both the regular Shadow Rap and the Shadow Rap Deep. These are going to be great lures of imitating what those fish are feeding on. Lake Hartwell has a tremendous amount of blueback herring and shad. And if you look at the way this bait moves in cold water conditions, it's perfect. It's exactly what I want. I want that bait to have these little tiny movements, little tiny flashes and rolls, and then on the pause, I want it just barely lurking out, you know, just barely going down. Second one is a cold water wintertime staple for me called a Shad Rap. Big fan of the Shad Rap, have been for 20 years, especially in the size 5, 6, and 7. And those three sizes are my favorites. And I'll throw that in both the shad pattern and a crawfish pattern, because in the winter they're eating a lot of crawfish too. I love the very tight action of that bait. I like to throw it on a spinning rod and light line, and it's got a lot of the same characteristics that the jerk bait has. You know, the third big category for me is one that you don't necessarily think about when you're thinking about cold water fishing, but it's a lipless vibration bait. A bait like the Rip and Wrap is perfect. They would be my three big categories. Give me a suspend and jerk bait like a Shadow Rap, give me a tight wobble crankbait like a Shad Rap, and give me a lipless vibration bait like a Rip and Wrap. And I predict one of those three baits is going to win the 2015 Bassmaster Classic.